Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Legally Armed America. I'm, of course, Paul Glasgow, the one and only OG Truth Pimp, serving you a vulgar display of logic and reason on a daily basis. Guys, you know, as a gun channel, which is what this channel of mine originally started out as, we were able to do all kinds of cool stuff until YouTube cracked down on us. Now we can't do any cool stuff, or no one sees the videos. I mean, it's like the tree falling in the forest. When you put one of those videos out that shows the latest, greatest, coolest gun on the market, YouTube does such a fantastic job of suppressing that viewership that it's likely not going to be seen, and those videos do cost money to make, just like all videos, but those tend to cost a little bit more because there's a lot more effort, a lot more filming, a lot more editing, a lot more time in general, not to mention the cost of your ammo and other things to put those together. That's why you probably see such a dramatic shift over the last couple of years of the types of videos that we put out. So again, it's important that you guys understand, while this channel did originate as a gun channel, I'm not upset that I get to do what I do today in the format that I do, that you see more current videos of mine. In other words, I like doing the deep dives. I like doing the digs into things out there. I actually originally had videos that were more conservative minded, like what you see here now, and it just evolved into a gun channel. It's weird how that evolution has come full circle. I'm back doing what I originally started out doing. I also have a high respect and high regard for people who take it upon themselves to dig into things online, and I source a lot of my stuff from those people. Andy Go is one of those people. I do believe that's probably how you pronounce his name. It's probably a Vietnamese name where the N is silent, but he is a conservative journalist, and I find that he's got some really good information. His stuff is very reliable. He had a recent post from a few days ago where he stated Antifa accounts are sharing a guide on how to make incendiary devices that will burn cables used in infrastructure like on train tracks. Antifa and anarchist extremists believe that domestic terrorist attacks must be used to destabilize and destroy the state, meaning the government, the infrastructure of the country in general. I followed one of his links over to the X account of Anarchist Federation News, and sure enough, these are the people behind this. They do have booklets. I'll get more into this here in a second. Regarding burning cables for beginners is the title of one of their anarchist booklets. Now, I went to their website, Anarchist Federation, and it's a pretty interesting website. You can see to the far right-hand corner over there most read articles, and the burning cables for beginners is a very popular one. It's #1 on the most read articles. So it's certainly getting some attention and gaining some traction as far as looks. On that website, they go on to describe the online Anarchist Federation aggregates daily news from all of the anarchist websites in one single convenient place, and it talks about where they get their sources from. Mentioned at the bottom, we are a multilingual platform bringing together the publications of anarchist organizations from all over the world. It goes on to talk about the different places that you can go worldwide to follow these different anarchist type organizations across the world. What does that tell me? It tells me that they, again, are one of these organizations that are federally funded by Soros-type organizations. You know Soros money is involved here, for sure. But there's other organizations, NGOs, non-governmental organizations, who also get, or got, don't know if they still do, U.S. aid money from the federal government, from us, the taxpayers, because the federal government doesn't make anything. So when the federal government writes a check, we're the ones who are funding that check. So all of our taxpayer money that we don't know where a lot of it goes sometimes, in many cases it goes to organizations like USAID. That money is paid to NGOs. That money then is paid through second, third, and fourth party NGOs and different nonprofit organizations, and it makes its way to organizations that Soros decides where the money goes, like these anarchy type organizations. Now, these folks are pretty careful how they conduct their business. Again, you can tell this is not a grassroots organization. This is a well-organized organization because they take pains to make sure they cover their tracks. Notice right here when they discuss their anti-civ arson booklet. They state that they've chosen not to make this text available as a PDF because we believe that if an arson guide is distributed in printed form, some people will inevitably keep it in their homes or in movement spaces, which the police would be happy to find during a repressive operation. In addition, a printed guide collects forensic traces from anyone who has interacted with it, so if the police recover a copy, they can, with some work, determine who has read it. Again, friends, you do not get that level of specificity from a couple of dope-smoking idiots in Portland or Seattle. This is a well-structured effort globally by big money. They want to give the appearance that a couple of stinky, smelly, dope-smoking dropouts who smell like toe cheese and dick cheese because they haven't bathed in weeks are running this thing, but make no mistake, they are not. This is being done, run, and funded at a very high level. These people that you see in these stinky little hoodies and whatnot, these are pawns. These are the useful idiots. These are the weak-minded. These are the jellyheads. These are the smooth brains. These are the ones that are easy to coax and guide because you can make them feel like they're a victim pretty much about anything. You can assign victimhood to just about anybody in these types of dummies. So these are the ones that they want to be the face because that's how you're going to attract the other cool kids who want to be cool, right? Because they see these people not, I don't have to bathe, and I'm going to get paid to do all this. This is awesome. I'm not going to go into all the details of this because I don't want to be their online method of trying to pass this information on. But they are very, very, let's just say, detailed about how they put this information out there. When they talk about accelerants, they go into as much detail that tells you about cable shaft, where the accelerant needs to be applied in order to burn these cables and things of that nature. The illustrations, if you're wanting to make different things that are going to work in conjunction with one another in order to burn these cables, there's great visuals here along with text guiding you on what you need to do. My concern here is that we come in contact, I'm talking about us, good, honest, law-abiding Americans. We come in contact with these people, right? And depending on where you live, I live in the deep south. It's not likely that these clowns are going to be down here. They just know they can't fit in down here. They know they'll stick out. They know that there's not a large enough group because these people are cowards. They have to assemble in large groups. It's usually not a lone man or something like that. You notice whenever you see these people on the news or wherever, they're usually in Portland or somewhere where they can get away with this kind of stuff and run off and blend back in with the other disgusting, unbathed miscreants in that particular society. That's not very easy to do in the South. Sure, there's people down here that don't bathe, but they don't look like these clowns and they don't assimilate with these clowns, right? So it's tougher to get away with this kind of stuff in different parts of the country. I think in your obvious, heavily more populated areas where a bunch of hippies and usually where universities are, you're probably going to be able to get away with it. But these people are very smart how they do this stuff and laying it out and getting these folks paid, getting them housed, and getting their signs professionally built and made for them. There's a lot of coordination behind the scenes that you wouldn't expect a normal dope-smoking, stinky guy to be able to do. Again, it's because they're not. Somebody at higher levels are doing this, and they're just giving this stuff on to them, including transportation in a lot of cases. They'll bring them to these places. Imagine having to clean those buses after those stink bags get in there with the smell of dick cheese and toe cheese everywhere. The goal is to make it look like it's a grassroots effort. Again, the danger is that we come in contact with them. And whenever you have a group of mindless young people who are being led by older people who are telling them, hey, we'll get you off, that emboldens them. It makes them braver. And of course, you've already seen where they'll, everything from throwing paint on works of art to disrupting things on college campuses when conservatives are there, to burning cities and whatnot. Even though they're cowards, the fact that they rove in numbers, kind of like a bunch of cockroaches, they are going to get emboldened whenever they have those numbers. And when they come in contact with you, that's where the danger is, because they feel like they can do things to people indiscriminately and it doesn't matter. And that's where I fear. Again, as an organization, them put against the Second Amendment community, not a worry in the world. For me, not a worry in the world. I don't for one brief moment think that man to man, you put those stinky dick cheeses together and let them go against us. Not a worry in the world. And again, one-on-one, not concerned. I worry whenever we get overwhelmed because a lot of us, I'm being honest here, don't go into these communities. I don't. Like, if I'm living in an area or near an area like a Portland or a Seattle, I'm not going in those metropolitan areas. So I know I'm never going to be in danger of being overwhelmed by a group of the dick cheeses. But some of you guys may have to. You may have to work in these communities. You may have to bring your kids to hospitals, medical centers. That's all going to be in these downtown areas that are hopping and popping with these stink bags. So whenever we get these losers in groups like that, they don't care if you're bringing your kid to cancer treatment or something like that. All they care about is disrupting things. In regards to this cable burning guide, right? Well, that's going to be train tracks. And in many cases, they may go into rural areas. Well, guess where we are? We're in most cases in rural areas. So this is where I worry about this. These people are dealing, and we're talking about people who are reading a pamphlet online to learn how to burn cables, right? So they're not seasoned people. It's not like they're hiring SEAL Team 6 to go out and do this. These are dropouts. These are losers. They're simply taking their information online. So I worry that whenever we come in contact with them in these more rural settings out there, that they're going to have accelerants with them, likely firearms. They're not going to be very well trained, so the likelihood of you being injured in a firefight from one of them is very unlikely. But that doesn't mean the danger is isn't there. It's still there, just on a very small level. And that's what concerns me. Because if you can convince one of them that they need to go burn these cables and follow the guide of some of these anarchists like this and these Antifa people, you've already got them committed to the goal. So that means their commitment might be that if it comes down to it and it's me or you, they might be willing to take you out. And that scares me. Again, not from a fearful standpoint of, oh my God, we've been overpowered. It's that we meet a new danger that doesn't need to be, but because they're trying to vandalize train tracks and whatnot, they feel like they're fully committed at that point. And if we stumble across them, let's face it, hunting, hiking, walking through the woods with our kids, bird watching, taking pictures of birds, you know what I mean? There's a number of things that we do to get out and go do things rather than sitting in a basement playing video games. No offense to you guys that play video games. I got no problem with that. I'm saying we do like to get out and do things. You're walking with your little kids or something, you stumble across a group of these dropouts and losers trying to do something illegal, like sabotage train tracks. You think they're just going to give you a nod and a wink and let you go on about your way without going, oh my God, we've been caught. You got 2 kids with you and you're walking by yourself, possibly unarmed. Don't be unarmed, just letting you know. Public service announcement, I wouldn't do anything without being armed. I'm armed when I'm in my own home. Just saying. But what if you are? And these people present a problem. What if things get out of hand and things start happening? You got your kids with you. Those are the kinds of things that worry me. Because by doing this type of sabotage, it puts them in areas that might be a little bit, like, I guess, further outside of their geographical norms, where you wouldn't, you expect to see these losers in downtown Portland. You don't expect to see them out in the woods 20 miles outside of Portland. That's where the good people probably are living. Get out, but that's probably where the good people are living. So that's what worries me. There's this type of stuff like this, when they start to teach and train these folks to attack infrastructure, it's going to be a lot easier for them to do that in these more rural settings because there's a lot more eyeballs, obviously cameras too, in those metropolitan areas. So I think they're going to choose to go out into these less populated areas. Again, that's going to be where we are. And my concern is that things pop off. And don't think for one moment that the Soroses and the people pushing the buttons and getting these smooth-brained idiots to do all their dirty work for them, don't think they don't want something to pop off. They do. Because then that gives them a chance to say that we're the militia. I'm talking about us. Look what we did. We're starting trouble with these honest, poor little college kids just going out there wanting to enjoy nature and we started some trouble with them. They want to suck us into something. It's always been about that. It's always been about pushing those limits to the point where you can sucker good people in to joining in with your fight, and you attack them. You old mean white Christian gun owner. You attack these poor little Antifa kids. All they wanted to do was enjoy nature, and you went out there and attacked them. Look, friends, I'm all about leaving people alone. I really am. I mean, my whole thing is, don't mess with me, I'm not going to mess with you. As long as you're doing something that's not affecting my family, I don't care what it is. When it starts to boil over into my world, we have a problem. That's where it becomes a problem. That's where I start caring about what you're doing, when it does start impacting my life or my family's life. If there's no impact there, do your thing. I don't care. But when you're burning train track cables and you're starting to damage and sabotage infrastructure, that's going to have some kind of an impact, even indirectly, on myself and my family. That's when I'm going to start caring. Now, I'm not going to police you, but I will certainly check you when it comes time to. And you're not going to like how we check y'all. I'm talking to Antifa here. You're going to be checked in a very indiscriminate fashion. And it's not going to be the way you get checked in a video game. Real life checking of somebody is kind of a big deal. And I don't think most of you have experienced that. It will take you one time to experience some hillbilly or redneck not being cool with what you're doing, and I bet you don't do it again. Guys, keep your head on a swivel. Please watch out there. Obviously, these are well-funded efforts, and when there's money behind it, that means it's a steady stream of that little bit of danger. Again, the people individually don't scare me. It's the overall effort to disrupt us in our everyday lives. That's what scares me, and that's at the top of the level of those Soros and those other folks. Be careful, guys. Watch your back. Watch your brother's back.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.